You might have seen an article in the press earlier in the week about a study that was published in the British Medical Journal. It's caused quite a bit of a stink in the orthopaedic world. Keep watching and I'll tell you all about it. Orthopaedic surgeons like me tend to be fairly down to earth and pragmatic. We like to do operations that help people who are in pain and struggling to keep mobile. Most of the time it works. A team of academics and surgeons from Bristol has done a study that shows that there isn't any strong evidence to support doing some common orthopaedic operations. This is what they found. Of 168 retrieved articles, no reviews of randomised controlled trials comparing total hip replacement with no treatment, placebo or sham surgery for the treatment of end-stage osteoarthritis were identified. Let that sink in for a moment. No reviews of randomised controlled trials comparing total hip replacement with placebo or sham surgery. Well, I'll go to the foot of my stairs. A sham operation is one where you have an anaesthetic, the hip is surgically exposed and then put back into place. When you wake up, you aren't told what's being done. Who in their right mind would sign up to that, when instead they could have one of the best operations in the history of surgery? As you can imagine, there's been a bit of a reaction from people who know about hip surgery. An ex-president of the British Hip Society said this: "An appropriate analogy may be that no one has, nor should they, perform a randomised controlled trial to see if wearing a parachute is better than not wearing parachutes when jumping out of aeroplanes." Somebody else said, "The evidence base is further backed up by the many stories and positive anecdotal evidence from the patients with whom we regularly engage through our work who state that hip replacement has transformed their lives." In view of this huge body of evidence, many doctors treating these patients would regard the proposed randomised control studies as completely unethical in patients who currently receive total hip replacement in the UK. The authors of the study concluded that intervention may work even if the evidence base has not yet been established or the observational evidence may be so overwhelming that randomised controlled trials would be deemed unethical or redundant. Hip replacement may be an example of this. Really? Who would have thought that? Of course, we must have robust evidence to help us to decide which treatments work and how safe they are. We sometimes get it wrong. We saw problems with metal hip replacements that caught many of us by surprise. And we only have to look at the controversies about the COVID vaccines to see that medical research is often, at best, just an educated guess. But just remember this: hip replacement surgery is brilliant. Millions of people have benefited from it for over 60 years and will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching.